Here's to whiskey kisses, the peaty taste of sin. Edinburgh morning with the smell of brewing on the wind. Here's to lighting bonfires.
Greetings whiskey folk and welcome to Drinking Out Loud. This is just a short video to give you my top 5 whiskies in the Strath 2021 whiskey sale that you might have not noticed until now. So truth be told, I was planning on doing a video for the sale like I did last year, which would launch at the beginning of the sale, giving you my top picks overall from the sale. But I didn't have a chance to do that because I actually had to fix the website a little bit before the sale started. A couple of things went wrong. Thankfully, that all went off without hitch, so a huge thank you to everyone that's tuned in on strathliquor.com at midnight on Monday for the launch of the sale. We saw huge sales overnight, and it seems like the website went off without a hitch. So yeah, thank you very much to everyone that joined in for that. So I'm instead putting this video out towards the end of the sale with my top 5 whiskies that you might not have noticed. Things that you might have just sort of skipped over because they don't necessarily sound big and flashy. They're not whiskies that have put a huge budget into their marketing, or they don't have big numbers next to their name. They're not 37 years old or something, right? So yeah, this is going to be my top 5 picks for that. Before I give you those, I just want to give a quick shout out to some of the whiskies which have performed incredibly well in this year's sale. Things like the Strathglenfarclas 12-year-old right here. We still have a decent amount of this left, but this has definitely been our #1 seller. If you haven't picked up a bottle yet, it's an amazing price right now. So you can find that on the 3rd page, I think. 4th page of our book, the Only at the Strath page. You can find that right now at 25.9% off. It's only $109, $109.48, which is a ridiculous price for a cask strength 12-year-old Glenfarclas. Definitely recommend that. At time of recording, I think we've got 1 bottle left of the Old Perth Festival edition, which is really cool as well. Also a shout out to the Ben Romack, another incredible seller. That has got now unfortunately sold out, but we will maybe be seeing a single cask Ben Romack in the Strath's future. Wink, wink. Also things that were big sellers this year that definitely would have made my list. Things like the Glen Scotia Victoriana, which is now sold out. Will be back though. And of course, the dark horse, the Talisker 57, which is one of the first things to sell out. And we have managed to get our hands on another case of that, which will be arriving at some point soon as well. So yeah, huge thank you to everyone that tuned in. Oh, and of course, another huge seller this sale, of course, are Glen Sandwiches from Divine. Both have done really well. I think there's only a couple of bottles left of that now as well. So yeah, it's been an incredible sale. We've made, I think, room for over 30 new whiskies on our shelves now, which is great because we like releasing new whiskies, but we need your help making sure there's room on our shelves for the new ones. So thank you very much for helping us with that. And here are my top 5. So, starting off with one that, I mean, if you were at some of the Blackadder tastings, then you might have very fond memories of it. But for some reason, it doesn't stand out on the shelf, and it's not a particularly memorable name. Blackadder's Black Snake. This stuff is delicious. There've been a couple of different varieties. The one I have in my hand right now is the VAT #1 5th Venom. The one we have in the sale, let me find that. I believe it's on the malts section, so that is right here, page 17. Yes, the Black Snake. It's so the one that we have in the sale is VAT 3 No. 3. And what on earth does that mean? Well, this is a mystery single malt whiskey, I believe from the Highlands, where they actually take several bourbon casks and they put it in a Solera vat made of sherry casks. So it's sherry finished Solera vatted whiskey. So the VAT number, obviously, is, you know, the VAT number, the physical vessel, and then the venom, as they call it, the 5th venom in this case, or the one that we actually have in the sale, the 3rd venom, is the addition taken from that cask. Because what they do with the Solera vat is they take a cask's worth of whiskey out, basically, and put a new cask in, and then wait for a while and do the same. So that Solera vat has whiskey in it that keeps getting older and older, but is topped up with fresher whiskey as well. Really interesting concept, really beautiful, rich sherry flavors on these. Cask strength as well. I mean, this one's 60.7. I think the VAT 3, Venom 3 is also around there. really stunning value because right now it's 13.8% off. You can get it for under $120, $119.91 for a beautifully sherried cask strength Highlands single malt. It's outrageous, it's beautiful, and I thoroughly recommend it. They're also hand numbered, which is kind of cool. So yeah, pick number 1 is the Blackadder Black Snake. All right, my second pick for this year's things that you might have missed is the Commodore. So this is a bit of an odd one because I was really excited when we released these. This is our this is the 3rd distillery in BC that we've chosen to partner with to make some single cask strength releases. And to be perfectly honest, I don't know what happened. We released it and people were very excited, and then people just kind of forgot about it. I think people were very distracted. It was the middle of the summer. Maybe I should have waited until fall. But we still have some available, and it's really good. Yes, it's not from the island, but it's still BC, and we need to make sure that we're supporting the whole of BC and not just the people that we can, throw stones at. I don't mean throw stones at in a biblical sense. I mean literally the stones throw distance away. That came out wrong. Don't throw stones at distilleries, guys. But yeah, no, this Commodore edition is absolutely beautiful. We have a pair of them right now and they're both the same price. But if you're looking for my pick, I actually honestly prefer the younger of the two. So this is cask 272, which was only 3 years old, rather than the 4-year-old version that we have as well. And this was done in a char 3 cask, so it's got much more of those heavy char cask flavors in it. Absolutely beautiful single malt local whiskey, and an amazing price as well. We've got it right now at 22.7% off, just to try and get some movement on it. Regular price $89.91, right now $69.48. So you can support local, have a delicious whiskey, and spend less than $70 doing so. So this is my second pick for this year's whiskey sale. All right, so what's my third pick? Well, my third pick is a style of whiskey that I discovered this year and I actually really like, but it's a hard one to try and persuade people to take a chance on. That's the Kujira. Is it whiskey? Well, I mean, yes, it is. And there is definitely a lot of people that will try and claim otherwise because it has a completely different history to all other whiskies. This is basically like distilled sake in a sense. It's made with koji. It's not brewed in the traditional Scottish way of making a whiskey. It's 100% rice. But rice is a grain, and the definition of whiskey is simply a distilled grain spirit that's been matured in oak. And this fits exactly in that definition. It's over 40%. It's 100% grains, and it's beautiful. And it's so completely different to everything else I've ever tasted. I basically feel like I've discovered a brand new spirit, but this spirit is technically a whiskey. So I'm including it in the whiskey sale because it is a whiskey. I thoroughly, wholeheartedly believe that it is, and it belongs here. Really beautiful whiskey. You can see my notes on a past video of this where I had an interview with brand ambassador at the time, Bryony Ty. Really stunning. Yeah. Plus it's got a sky whale on it, and who doesn't love a sky whale? So, the Kujira 10, that would be my third choice in the top 5. Moving on now to something that is a brand new release. It's technically, yes, it's in the sale book. It's part of the sale, but it's, I should give you the price on the Kujira. I'm getting carried away. So if you go to the Japan page, which is page 25 of your books, you will find a couple of Kujiras. This is the 10-year-old. It is currently 14.1% off. Regular price $221.65 down to $190.35. So an age statement, one of a kind, completely unique style of whiskey made in Okinawa, Japan, for sub 200. Pretty cool. Sorry, back to regular scheduled programming. That Boutique Whiskey Company. So this is a new release, so it's not heavily discounted, but it is still a featured whiskey in the Dram Association's featured whiskey section, which we've opened up to everyone right now. We hope that some of you will become Dram Association members if you're not already, but anyone can get the 10% off for the next day on this beautiful thing. And this is a whiskey that I purchased. I haven't actually opened my own bottle yet, but you can watch me taste it on Drinking Out Loud a few episodes ago. Absolutely wonderful whiskey from the guys at That Boutique. And this is a Cambus 27-year-old, bottled at 50.7% ABV. This is a closed grain distillery. It's 27 years, and it's just, if you're a fan of Scottish grain whiskey, which, you should be because it's fantastic, then this is a fantastic example of such. And you can find this one on the featured whiskey page, which is page 21 of the book with the Dram Association out there. Yeah, it is 10% off, normally $191.22 down to $172.10. Yes, this is a 500ml bottle. It's slightly smaller than the other ones. It's about 2/3 the size of a regular size bottle. But still, $172.10 for a 27-year-old closed distillery single grain whiskey from a small batch done at a hefty 50.7 ABV. That is magnificent, and I'm a huge fan of this one, and you can see me try this one, like I said, on Drinking Out Loud a couple of episodes ago. And now my number one pick, a little risky, because it's actually something I've never had, but I'm going to put that to rights right now. I have a glass at the ready to give you my first impressions. Why am I choosing a whiskey that I've never actually had as my number one pick? Excitement, expectation, reputation. So I brought this whiskey in actually as an exclusive to the Strath here in BC. Nowhere else in British Columbia has this whiskey. It's much like how Victoriana last year we had as our exclusive, which is now open at other liquor stores. You will be able to find the Glen Scotia Victoriana elsewhere. However, we, of course, will keep stocking it here at the Strath. It's a great product. But this is the same kind of idea. It's something that was brought in especially because I requested it. And hopefully, hopefully it'll go down well and other people will pick it up in a future delivery. But for now, we have all of it. And it's a style of whiskey that I've never had from the actual official bottling. And that is the Loch Lomond unpeated single grain. I've had a few of these from independent bottlers, and I've absolutely loved them. What is it? Why is it a single grain? Why is it so exciting? So this is 100% malted barley, but it's made in a coffee still. So you might think, that sounds an awful lot like Nika coffee malt. Yes, it does. Exactly the same method of Nika coffee malt, which is an outstanding Japanese whiskey. Anyone who's tried it will attest to that, I feel. It has huge legions of fans. But we've also had some incredible SNWS releases in this exact style from Loch Lomond. One that really stands out in my mind was Thermonuclear Banana, one of my favorite SNWS releases of the last 5 years. Absolutely incredible whiskey. So when I found out that you could get this as an official bottling, bottled by Loch Lomond, remember this is the same company that bottled the Glen Scotia Victoriana. Loch Lomond and Glen Scotia are the same guys. And it's bottled at 46%, and it's a really, really reasonable price. I was very much on board, and I've sold a few bottles of these to friends of mine who have come into the store looking for something new and exciting, and I've heard so much incredible feedback from them. Everyone who I've recommended this to has come back to me and said how much they loved it. One of them even came back and bought a whole case. So yeah, this is my number one pick, and I'm about to find out if I was correct in making it my number one pick. I do love the bottle. I know, a clear bottle is nice because you get to see the level properly and you get to see the colour of the whiskey, but this is just so beautiful, isn't it? I really like the dark glass, especially with the gold emblem on it and the red. All right. Wouldn't be drinking out loud without at least one drink, would it? So let's pause for the pop. I got the foil. Let's try again. Pause for the pop, take two. Beautiful. All right. So, non-coloured, non-chill filtered, as far as I'm aware. I might say on the bottle, but I'm fairly certain. Oh, it's got a batch number on this. This was actually bottled in February of this year. That's kind of cool. Made with 100% malted barley, non-chill filtered. There we go. It says right at the top there. Doesn't say on the label anything about colouring, but if they've added colour to that, then they've, done so very sparingly. It's not exactly dark. Oh, that nose. Aged to perfection in specially selected American oak casks, Loch Lomond single grain Scotch whisky coffee still. 100% malt. This outstanding single grain Scotch whisky is made exclusively from malted barley in our continuous or coffee still. This approach to distillation gives a lighter, more approachable whisky with lots of flavour and character. It is then matured in the finest American oak casks from our own on-site cooperage. That's cool. It's actually Coopered on site. Michael Henry then selects the perfect combination of casks to create the perfect harmony of flavour and aroma. So this is what makes it most exciting to me. I've only ever had this style of whiskey from Loch Lomond as single casks, and I've absolutely adored them all. But if there's one thing that the guys at Glen Scotia and Loch Lomond know what to do, and I've said this before, it is create harmony out of chaos. Their single cask editions for both distilleries can be so wild and off the wall and just go in so many strange directions, but they tie it all together in their official bottlings weirdly well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they had in mind when they were distilling this this style of whiskey, what they were actually wanting to present, and that's what I'm going for now. Yeah. It's hard when I know that one of my favourite of all times was called Thermonuclear Banana. It's hard not to instantly look for banana, but I definitely get it. Foam banana candies, cloves, fresh peaches, maybe tinned peaches. No, I'm going to say fresh juicy peaches. A nice sort of wisp of wood smoke as well. I know it's not peated, but I don't know, maybe there's something about the fact that the casks have been coopered on site. There's probably very little time between charring and filling at this place. Yeah. There is definitely a little tiny touch of wood smoke on there. That's a very pleasant nose, I have to say. Smells a little bit, and yes, I know, again, power of suggestion, coffee. I know it's in a coffee still, spelt differently. The amount of people I've had to explain that Nika coffee malt isn't coffee flavored, but it does have a slight sort of coffee nose, to be honest. It's quite sweet as well on the nose there. Not like cloyingly sugary sweet, but kind of like a pecan Danish pastry. A little bit of sort of a toasted maple syrup kind of a thing. All right, Slanchavar. Drier on the palate than I was expecting. Definitely one of those whiskies that makes you want to go back for a second sip because your mouth starts to dry out quite quickly. Tingly. It's nicely spiced. More of a pear juice kind of thing, less of the peaches, more of a pear now. Tiny bit of a tropical note on there. Dusting of white pepper. Yeah, that is very, very, very drinkable. This is a sessionable style of whiskey, I've got to say. Yeah, if you're looking for a good, easy drinker, sipping whiskey to watch TV with or share with the family, this is definitely that style of whiskey. It's not, I have to admit, it's not going to be the best whiskey you've ever had. That's not what this whiskey's going for. It's not trying to be the splashiest. It's not trying to be the most extravagant. It's trying to do whiskey-flavored whiskey really well. And that's really good. But it's doing it in a really cool, experimental way as well. So if you are a bit of a whiskey geek and you want to explore and the nuances and try and figure out where those flavors are coming from, this is still a whiskey for you. It's the kind of whiskey that ticks the boxes for both the adventurous whiskey geek like myself, but also for people who just drink whiskey because they like the taste of whiskey and they're not hobbyists, they're just whiskey drinkers. Yeah. Actually, thinking about it, this is the perfect bottle to have on hand for like a family gathering. And like I said, not the best whiskey in the world, but probably the best valued whiskey in the store right now. Because amazingly, this whiskey is just fantastically priced. So we're giving you 20.1% off right now. Even the regular price is incredible for this, $84.26. Yeah, less than $85 for this bottle. Right now it's $67.30. $67.30. No wonder my friend bought a case. Absolutely fantastic. So I should mention that this style of whiskey, although it's marketed by Loch Lomond as this, what do they call it? The single grain coffee still unpeated Loch Lomond. It's a lot of words. In-house, it's known as Ross 2. which is probably how I'm going to mostly refer to it. So if you're a fan of Ross Deuce, some of the single casks that we've had through the club in the past, and feel like giving this one a shot, I absolutely recommend picking it up. Yeah, it's fantastic value. I can't think of anything better under $100, and it is only 67. So that is, yeah, that's pretty good, I have to say. Yep, I've tried it. I can give it my proper seal of approval now. My number one pick for the Strath Whisky Sale 2021, the Loch Lomond single grain. But that's just my pick. I want to know what you picked out from the sale. Leave us a note in the comments letting us know what really excited you in this year's Strath Whisky Sale. And yeah, let us know what kind of whiskies you'd like us to bring in now that we have room on the shelf. We are somewhat limited here in BC with what the companies are willing to bring and able to bring in. But yeah, any requests, let me know, and I will do my best to try and get it or something similar on the shelves here at the Strath. Slanchivar, stay well. Oh, and one last thing, we still have tickets left for next Thursday's Indie versus Indie tasting as well. $45. Get your tickets right now at strathliquor.com. It's going to be incredible. We've got 8 different independent bottlers going head-to-head in a bracketology competition, and you, the audience, get to choose the winners. So please join in for that. Pick up your tickets right now. Indie versus Indie at strathliquor.com. Slanchivar, I will see you at the next video. Cheers.